I like to say I look at research upside down. I've always come at things a little bit differently. And we built Archoral to solve my problem. And it was purpose built to solve a problem. And we were like, I hope other people like it. And apparently I'm not as crazy as I think I am.
Not at all.
Because it's really been an amazing adventure.
That's Kate Guanci, founder and CEO of Archoral, and the problem she set out to solve started with a 6,000 square foot warehouse full of her family's history. It had everything from teddy bears from the 1800s, furniture, tons of photographs, jewelry, books, the works. We got to sit down with Kate at RootsTech this year, 2026, to talk about what she discovered when she stopped trying to fit her family into a traditional tree and started building something else entirely. So let's dive in.
Branching out, oh, we're diving in, tracing the lines, where do we begin? Branching out, the stories unfold, digging through the past to find the gold.
Welcome to the Branching Out Genealogy Podcast, your go-to guide for genealogy tips, tech, and tea. I'm Elizabeth Swanay O'Neal, a board-certified genealogist and author of the family history lifestyle website, Heart of the Family.
And I'm Tami Osmer Mize. I'm the manager and doer of everything at the National Genealogical Society's free genealogy calendar of events website, conferencekeeper.org.
In today's episode, we're sharing our conversation with Kate Guanci, the founder and CEO of Archoral, which we recorded live this year at RootsTech in 2026.
Kate walks us through what makes Archoral different from the genealogy software you're probably used to, including why she ditched the traditional family tree in favor of a profile-based system that can capture more than 14,000 different kinds of relationships. Archoral is an entire archive building program, so it's not just about your tree. It's not just about a profile, but it's everything. It's your documents, your photos, census records, everything you've compiled, the stories, the audio, everything you've compiled on someone, right? All connected to the individuals that they go to, all available to you in one spot. It's wonderful.
We also get into their partnership with Rick Voigt of Vivid-Pix, the meaning behind the name Archoral, and why Kate believes the people we choose and the people who choose us shape our family history just as much as the ones we're related to by blood. So, a quick note before we get into our interview with Kate. We're trying something new this season. So we've kind of retired the what we're working on segment and the industry news segment, partly because our episodes were getting really long, and partly because news gets stale in podcast form, especially if you're listening to an episode long after it was recorded. So in its place, we're bringing you something that we're loving or something actionable that we think you can try right away. Maybe it's an app, maybe it's a website or a tool or a tip. Like I said, something actionable. So less listening and more doing. So let us know what you think of this change up in the programming. All right, so for my What I'm Loving segment this week, I want to talk to you about my new desk chair, which sounds really boring, but stay with me. So last year, we've talked about it a little bit before. It was kind of rough for me health-wise. I had gallbladder surgery and a few other health issues came up. And I ended up losing about 30 pounds during the process. So, silver linings, except I lost it in places that apparently I needed to keep it, which included my fanny, ironically enough, which I'd been trying to get rid of most of my life. And now that it's gone, I kind of want it back.
You can buy those pads,
I know. I could buy a fake panty and sit on that.
There you go.
So suddenly the office chair that I'd been, reasonably happy with for several years really felt now like I was sitting on a wooden bench. So Anybody who does genealogy research, which I'm assuming is most of you out there, knows that we spend a lot of time sitting down in our chairs.
Probably a little too much, but yeah.
Yeah, probably. And this was really becoming a big problem for me. So I finally, after probably months and months of research, splurged on a new chair. It's by a brand called Homrelexa, which I had never heard of. And
Hmm.
Tammy, before you say anything, I got the white one, not the pink one.
I'm shocked. I'm absolutely shocked.
I was a little shocked too because everything else in here is pink. So I
Yes.
guess I thought the white would make this small room look a little bigger. I don't know. So yeah, I kind of shocked myself when I put the white one in the cart. But I have to tell you, it's kind of like sitting on a cloud now. It's cushioned and it has a little footrest that pops out. And the best part for me is that the arms fold down so I can sit like a cross-legged nerd, which is how I sit best when I'm thinking. It's basically my default research position. I don't sit still very well. I like to move around, legs up, legs down, all over the place.
It sounds like
So
it needs to have a mini fridge in there too, so you can.
I actually have one of those. Also pink. Um, so I'll put a link in the show notes to information about my chair in case any of you also out there are shopping around for a new chair. Quick disclosure though, as an Amazon associate, I do earn from qualifying purchases. So I'm required to say that if you buy anything through my link, our podcast gets a few pennies and I get to keep recommending things that I actually love. But this is a genuine, I bought it with my own money, I sit in it all day long recommendation. And so if your old chair has stopped working for your body and your situation, whether you've lost weight or you've just worn the thing out, consider this your sign. So how about you, Tammy? What are you loving this week?
I I am almost embarrassed to admit that I've just recently discovered that my Microsoft 360 plan comes with built-in AI with their Copilot, which isn't really the AI programming that I've been using much, but when I can open up an Excel spreadsheet and just chat with the Copilot and say, change column B from British time to Eastern time, and poof, it's done. Just telling it what I want my spreadsheet to do, and it builds it for me. I mean, I've learned how to write formulas, and I struggle through some of them because a lot of the things I like to do, I'd like to really make the programs, jump hoops. And now 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 that I know that I get 60 credits a month with my Microsoft 360 account, I have been making great strides with my Excel spreadsheets in, tweaking things the way I want to. So that's what I have been working and I wanna say playing with, but it's actually been really making a lot of, differences for me in my workflows. So,
So wait a minute,
you
you're talking to your spreadsheet.
I'm talking to my spreadsheet, and you actually can do it in voice or you can type the information in, and I just tell it in layman's terms what I want it to do, and it does it. I was working on my own personal budgeting for my home, my accounts, and I asked it to make a pivot table with certain categories, and it created this whole other sheet with, a whole other table with the pivot table pulling the information. It was a thing of beauty.
Yeah, when
So,
you're saying you tell it what to do and it does it, the first thing that pops into my head is unlike husbands.
yeah, we talked about this earlier. The future of relationships may have to change a whole lot, and it didn't I didn't have to tell it 3 or 4 times, and
And then eventually do it yourself. So apologies, husbands.
but that's what, and so, I looked into it a little bit more, and with the Microsoft 360 plan, you get 60 credits a month, and I know that, sometimes in different programs, a task will require, like 35 or 150 credits, so they're giving you all these credits. It always changes from program to program, but with Microsoft, I mean, I felt like I was doing a ton of iterations of these spreadsheets to get things the way I wanted them, and it was like 1 credit each time. So you could do 2 different things every day with it, and if that's
So
what you
you're
wanted to do.
doing this for right, what you're talking about is a like budgeting and finance, but a lot of genealogists also use spreadsheets for I use them for extracting information from land records a lot,
Fan clubs, collecting up all
fan
your
club
people.
information, exactly. So there are a lot of uses that genealogists have for spreadsheets. So this could be really helpful if you are a spreadsheet user, a Microsoft Excel user, and you need to
Right,
change some things up.
right. I mean, a lot of programs do have, yeah, because I'd been looking at different programs. I was looking for help with my Excel spreadsheets, and lo and behold, found I'd had it all along. So that
Very
was cool.
cool.
Yeah. We'll be right back with our interview with Kate Guanci after this short word from our sponsor, Vivid-Pix.
Don't let your memories fade due to the passage of time or cognitive decline. Vivid-Pix Memory Station and software makes it simple to scan photos, documents, and mementos, restore these images, record voice narrative describing these memories, and share these wonderful memories with stories.
So before we jump right into the interview with Kate from Archoral, we want to tell you a little bit about our experience of recording this interview. So prior to RootsTech, full disclosure, Tami and I are both RootsTech, what are we called this year? Influencers,
Media
media?
group, something like that. It's
Yeah,
been ambassadors, influencers, but I think they're
yeah,
media.
whatever we were called this year. We were it. So, and we had the opportunity to sign up for what they called the RootsTech Studio. Now, last year they offered podcasters a podcasting area, which was basically a little cordoned off area with a big mixer machine, and you would plug in all of your fancy equipment. And Tami and I don't use a lot of fancy equipment because we're separated by a few thousand miles. So we're not in the same, yeah, so we're not in the same room and we can't do that. So when we were offered the chance to use the studio this year, I thought, well, I don't know. We'll just sign up for it and see what it is because they said it
Yeah,
was going to be different.
and and
And
and to be honest, the I knew that within the expo hall and over in the, society corner area, they had put in a couple of booths for people to go in and record stories, and I was thinking that that's where we had signed up to go in and do some recording with, and and I I appreciate that they provided these booths, but quite honestly, they looked a lot like construction porta potties that were a little bit nicer, but they were about that size. So I was trying to figure out how the 3 of us were gonna fit into one of these little, closed-in booths.
and they were all the way across the hall from the media area, which seemed oddly placed.
It did. So we kept looking because we knew it was supposed to be pretty nice and everything, but we couldn't find it. But I think you finally discovered it, right?
Well, I went to Erin Schertz, who is basically our boss on the media team, and asked her where it was. And she said, "Oh, you haven't seen it yet?" And I was like, "No, I've looked all around down here in the expo hall. I can't find anything." "Oh, well, go upstairs and I will meet you up there." So I went upstairs and I was looking all around, and she showed up and she took me to what looked like a broadcast news set. And I was looking at this thinking, "No, no, no, this can't be it. This isn't what we signed up for. We're just nobody
You don't like
podcasters.
it.
We're not worthy of this." And she was just as kind as could be, and was telling us, "Oh, yes, this is what you signed up for. We made time for you to do this." And so I went, I felt like a little kid, and I went and ran down and grabbed Tammy, and I, "Oh
She
my
did.
gosh, you've gotta come and see
You're
this.
not
You're
gonna
not gonna
believe
believe
this.
it." And I don't think you did believe it when you
No,
saw it.
I didn't. And then we get up there and we bring Kate up there, and it was the same thing. We're like, it looks like we're going to be on the nightly news. There's this lit up desk and everything. And then they asked us if we'd been to makeup yet.
Oh,
And
yeah, because I had forgotten to put on lipstick or something, and
I
I
never
asked
wear
for a
any anyway.
mirror. I asked for a mirror. Is there a mirror I could use? And they said, oh, yeah, you can go to the makeup lady. So I go into the makeup lady, and the makeup lady starts doing my lipstick and, whatever else. I surely needed a lot of help. But then I came out and I'm like giggling, there's a makeup lady. Oh, there's a makeup lady.
It was so much fun. And again, I don't hardly ever wear makeup, but it was really fun having somebody else do me up and making me all, I was ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille.
After I saw myself when I got the footage, it was like, oh my God, who is that old lady sitting in my chair? It's me.
That's every day when I look in the mirror.
Oh my goodness.
But it was amazing.
It was amazing. And they recorded it for us. So we didn't have to do anything. They mic'd us, they recorded us, they did all the camera work. It was I aspire someday to be treated like that again. So
and we had such a great talk with Kate too. It was
it felt
wonderful.
very natural and organic.
Mm-hmm.
She is a great guest, a lot of fun to talk to, and we hope that you see that in the interview. But you'll also see us kind of giddy, like we get to be here. So that now you know why we're acting so goofy. So there you go. All right, so here we go with the interview with Kate.
In 3, 2.
Hi, this is Tami Mize and Elizabeth Swanay O'Neal from the Branching Out Podcast. We're here at RootsTech Live with Kate Guanci from Archoral, and we're really excited to get to know a little bit about Kate and this wonderful product, Archoral. Kate, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Would you tell us a little bit about how you got into family history and then what led you to Archoral?
Oh, that's a long and complicated story, so I will shorten it for you. I'm the keeper of my family history, and as many people know, farmers don't throw anything away. So I ended up with a 6,000 square foot warehouse of my family history.
Oh my gosh.
Everything from photos, documents, to teddy bears from the 1800s, furniture, clothing, jewelry.
Wow.
And when I started putting it all back together and digitizing and placing them back into their family units, I started seeing characters develop. I started seeing the interests that they had, the things that they deemed to be important. And I really started to understand, by combining all of that texture together, the personality of my relatives, of the people that came before me, that made me. So I wanted an application that tied all that together in one spot, that was able to give me that whole overview of my folks. But what I also realized is that I was starting to see a lot of community, because you're never in a photograph by yourself.
That's true.
Well, except for selfies. Today we do selfies, lots of selfies. But I had pictures of my neighbors and my classmates and parts of their stories, gifts that they had given, greeting cards they had sent. So we've really started to see that our family history is not siloed only to our family, that we're connected.
Absolutely.
We're absolutely connected to our people, our places, our activities. So we decided to build Archoral. And what we did is we made it profile-based instead of tree-based. And what that allows you to do is capture every name that you come across. We do profiles for people and locations. So you just capture. And then as you're finding information, you're indexing it to those profiles, and people start to grow.
Wow.
So we also allow you to have over 14,000 different relationship combinations. It's bananas.
Wow.
It's bananas.
I didn't know there were that many.
Well, yes. Because we're not just biological. It's adoptive, foster, guardian, but we're also mentor, teacher, student, athlete, coach, clergy.
There's important people in our life. That's right.
Because we're shaped so much by our environment and the people that we interact with, the people that we choose to, and the people that we don't shape us. And this just allowed us to really start to see an entire universe that people lived in. And it's been an amazingly wonderful journey to see what other people can discover too.
So I have a question already.
Sure.
This sounds like the fan club on steroids.
Absolutely.
So you talked about bringing in the images and stuff from, oh my gosh, 6,000 square foot.
6,000 square feet. I am a lunatic.
So, but does this all, you can also bring in your documents and
Absolutely.
everything on one
Absolutely.
person? What all can you bring when you've got your person profile, your person that you're researching, what all can you bring into your space for that
The
person?
answer is anything you want.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So with indexing, it becomes a legacy application. I laugh at people. I'm allergic to tagging. Because honestly, in order for something to be a legacy, if you type in WWII and you type in WW2 and I type in World War II, they're never going to find each other. And with all of the work that we do, genealogists, family historians put in hours, days, years for this. Decades, exactly. And we want it to be able to continue rolling with our future. We're preserving the past, but right now, today, as we're sitting here, we're making tomorrow's history.
That's true.
So we want it to live on. And so when you index something, it connects automatically to a timeline event, to a vital statistic. So it's photos, documents, audio, and video all work together within our application. You don't have to open Adobe, open QuickTime, open those. They all work inside.
Oh, that's nice.
Mhm, yeah. So they're all source proof, basically. But it's not just a census document. We're also built so that you can put in your entire photo album. I can put in photographs of the fur coat from great-great-grandma. I can put in photographs of the furniture, and then you can start to see, because 6,000 square foot warehouse, I didn't know which belonged to which generation.
Right.
You know, as you move out of a house, you just put excess in a barn, keep stuff. So when I'm finding older photos, going back to slides, going back to all of that, I can see, oh my gosh, this dresser was not my mom's, it was my great-grandmother's, and look at how it survived. So it starts to have more of a context, and less often ends up in Goodwill, less often. But what you have from your ancestors is what they deemed important.
Right.
Yeah.
So it gives value and understing.
My great aunt's ponytail.
Exactly.
Yeah, Liz,
Random.
we'll talk about that.
That's a DNA project all by itself.
How about you? You've got questions for?
I want to know what the name Archoral signifies.
Absolutely. It stands for Archiving the Chorus of Life. And our belief is that everybody dances to the beat of a different drum globally. And all of those drum beats make up the song of life.
I love that.
It takes everyone for the human story. So
Nice.
archiving the chorus of life.
Love that.
Yeah.
Well, we had Rick Voigt on the podcast a couple of episodes ago, and we noticed that you have a partnership or a collaboration
We
with
do.
Vivid-Pix. Can you
do.
tell us a little bit about that?
I would love to. That has been one of the most exciting developments out of the year. It really has. We are caregivers, myself, my co-founder Laverne, her husband Dan. My husband has frontotemporal degenerative dementia,
Oh my goodness.
along with semantic aphasia, Lewy body, and advanced Alzheimer's. So he's an overachiever. Yeah. Laverne's mom has advanced dementia, and Dan's mom has advanced Alzheimer's, and all of us are in-home caregivers. So those of you that know what that is, in-home caregivers. And so brain health is something that is really paramount to us.
Yeah.
We believe very much that the brain is a muscle and you have to exercise it, just like you exercise your legs and go
Sounds
for walks.
exactly like Rick.
Yeah, 100%. So that synergy really came together with us.
I can see that.
Yeah. And then once we started really getting to know each other and talking, he started learning about my desire for communal archiving, for people to really, because when you look at a dartboard and you're doing research aiming for that center bullet, you're missing the context.
True.
And just to interject here, by communal archiving, you kind of more mean like within your own family.
Within your own
You don't mean that anybody else can come in.
No. That's a great clarification. Thank you. every archive that is made is a personal closed archive that you can invite people to help you with.
Okay, perfect.
But we have people that do, here's my archive for my family, but we also have, here's the archive for my library.
Oh.
So it can be as big, as small as you want it to be. So that's one of the wonderful things in partnering with Rick, is we are starting to implement what we're calling a preservation initiative. And we've got a pilot program going on at Panola College, bringing in students, crossing generations, breaking down some of those barriers, preserving history. We'll work with senior care centers, libraries, archives, museums.
That's amazing.
You name it.
And I was talking to Rick earlier, and he was telling me that he's very excited because from his Memory Station software, it pulls directly in.
It really does.
If you want to.
Yeah. So that was another kind of kismet thing. So in our archive, we have storytelling. So my mother has Parkinson's, so she can't tap along and do things. So every profile, being a person or location profile, has a storytelling feature where she can just hit record and she can tell me a story and it'll transcribe it and do all that wonderful thing. But also against each piece of media, meaning photo, document, audio, video, you can record someone's voice telling the story about that. And with Rick's Memory Station, you scan, you restore, you record. And the way his file names are structured with that, when you import it into Archoral, it automatically puts photo, story, transcription in that recording. And they were already built, so it was like, this is meant to be.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so you can now directly import from Vivid-Pix straight
great.
into Archoral.
Because I love his software. I love the Memory Station software, and knowing that this is very exciting.
Yeah. Well, what's also wonderful about that is you can, whoever is doing the scanning with Memory Station records the story, yeah? And then you can put it into Archoral where you can link it to the 7 people they're talking about. That's one of our things, is you don't do redundancy. You don't have to put 7 files and 7 file folders for 7 people. You index it once, you link it once, and now that story cascades throughout your whole family.
But it's attached to each of those people,
Each of those
and it's
people,
there.
one time, once,
That's great.
and it
That's really
cascades.
exciting.
Yeah,
It is.
It really makes community, family, all of that quicker, faster, better, easier, you know?
It's a different mindset, though, from researching for several decades and putting everybody in their own little box.
Yeah.
Even though that's not how their lives were, that's how we've been conditioned to
do it.
to store our stuff. And then trying to think outside the box, like you're talking about, it's a different mindset, but I think it makes more sense when you really get down and think about it.
Well, thank you. I like to say I look at research upside down. I've always come at things a little bit differently. And we built Archoral to solve my problem. And it was purpose built to solve a problem. And we were like, I hope other people like it. And apparently I'm not as crazy as I think I am.
Not at all.
Because it's really been an amazing adventure.
It's exciting to me, and it makes so much sense that when I'm researching, looking at one person and wanting to put together his life story, that I don't have to go into my photo vault, and I don't have to go into my files and find each of these documents, into my census records. That everything will be right there with him, and that I can pull in to refer to, and that's really exciting to me.
So here's a fun little example. Since we do person profiles and location profiles, you have a census. You attach the census to a location profile. So now that's attached with all the people that lived there, right? All the residents, the neighbors, all of that.
The fans.
Then you come across an archive that has a photo of it. Now you attach the photo to the census, to the timeline, to the homeowner, to the lineage, to the address. We also connect vintage and current addresses.
Oh my goodness.
Our profiles can tell when there are boundary changes, when there's all that. So you can look at a profile and see all of the people that were around your relatives.
That's really exciting.
All of the linked profiles.
That makes that whole fan process come alive.
It explodes.
Well, I love that because I'm a former teacher and I'm all about learning theory and how people learn differently. And as you're telling about this, I'm thinking, okay, well, you're hitting the visual learners, you're hitting the auditory learners, you're hitting the kinesthetic learners. And I think that that's going to be a really great way for the information to stick with people because they're going to be inputting it according to their learning style.
What works for you? It's not you have to do it this way and deal with it.
Everything in our application you can come at from at least 3 different ways. Everything. So whether it's input, whether it's indexing, whether it's uploading, anything you can come at 3 different ways. And as a professional genealogist, you know that it's a very lonely job.
It is.
It is. So we allow collaboration because in my particular family, one relative just knows all the addresses. They just know locations. Another relative knows all the names. Another relative knows all of the children.
And then there's the one that knows all the dirt.
And then there's the one that knows all the dirt.
I like that one. That's the one I want to talk to.
So you can actually collaborate together for a more cohesive, and we've got sticky notes and all these ways.
So you could invite somebody to your archive and
and have them help you. Yeah.
That's really exciting.
Yeah, and that way you can say, hey, you know that photo album that you have and you're 3,000 miles away from me?
Yeah.
Can you scan it and upload it to my archive?
I like that.
Start
That's
putting
exciting,
the story back
isn't
together.
it?
I know, I'm thinking I need to go home and do this.
We're having a lot of fun.
Oh, I bet. And you're enjoying it here at RootsTech?
Oh, it's amazing. I've been an attendee for several years, and this is our coming out party.
You're coming out in a big way.
We are. We've got a whole society pavilion that we're part of, and the big 40-foot integration between Vivid-Pix and Archoral, and it's just, I can't stop saying wild ride. That's really the only description.
I know that you've been creating, I want to say, how-to videos all along the way.
Yeah.
And so when someone does sign up for Archoral, and I also know that you've made it, I want to say, simple. You've made it, it's not overwhelming. You've made it for yourself, so you know how hard you don't want it to be. You don't want it to overwhelm somebody. And you do have lots of videos, and you continue to do them, and they're on Conference Keeper, by the way. Whenever she comes out with a new one, we post it, or we have the date and time on our calendar.
Yes,
so
y'all have been amazing for us.
Oh, thank you.
You've been such good friends and allies along the way. Conference Keepers.
Oh, thank you.
Open the universe to us.
Oh, it's really exciting, and I'm so glad we got to talk to you because we got to learn more. I think we have a little bit more time. Is there anything that you want to add? Your future or
Sure.
what's exciting?
Sure. I can speak to the tutorials and the videos, as you were saying. So we've got a 500-year view for the company. And anyone that codes knows you have to start here and then you have to work your way. I can't just go straight to Tony Stark Iron Man. So every 2 weeks, we're pushing new releases, new features. Every 2 weeks, we have a schedule. And people that come in, they say, I don't get it. Because you have to take the way that you're thinking and turn it just a little bit. Mm-hmm. And as soon as that light bulb comes on, it's like, I get it. And now everything's just fast and intuitive, and they can just hammer away. So we're very customer service oriented. It's us. We're real people. We're in the United States. We're the ones that answer the emails and the phones, our team and myself and my co-founder, Laverne.
And that's what I was going to say, is that you're always there to make sure it works. Ask
away. And the other thing is, a company is only as good as the suggestions and the input that it gets from its users.
That's true.
We're only that good. So we do not believe that we have the answer to solve everything. So if there's an idea that somebody has, or they say, we wish that this did this, bring it on, and we'll throw it in one of those 2-week releases, and we'll see what we can do, because we want this to be user-friendly, and we want it to live forever. Yeah.
Well, if that's it, then we want to thank Kate for joining us today on the podcast. And we look forward to trying out Archoral and getting into a little bit different way of thinking about your family history and how you're recording it. So thank you very much for being with us, Kate.
And we will have a discount code that we'll give for your users.
Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah,
We'll
for your viewers, absolutely. So we'll provide that.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being with here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
This was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
And let's cut.
All right, so that sound means that it is tea time. Tea time. This is from my mother's set. It is, who is it? Mikasa, ivory bone china. This is the remembrance, and it's got little pink flowers on it.
Of course it has
Of
pink
course it does.
flowers.
So this is the china that I brought today for tea time. And today, Tami, we're pouring some sweet tea, which is unusual for me.
I know, and you know I'm in the South, and here that's the only kind of tea that exists. So
Mhm.
so I'm always happy to hear sweet tea.
All right. Well, to kick things off here, we have, I'll say, ranted on this show before more than once about how long it takes to get vital records from the state of New York. Like, did the document get lost? Did the clerk retire? Am I going to outlive this request long?
I have personally aged waiting for a New York death certificate.
Same here. So this isn't quite about vital records in New York, but it's some genuinely good news for anyone with New York ancestors. So the New York State Education Department's Office of Cultural Education has announced a collaboration between the New York State Library, the New York State Archives, and our friends at FamilySearch. And they are digitizing thousands of records and making them available online for free.
For free. Now, that's the language that I know how to speak.
That's my favorite price.
That's right.
So here's the part that I really love. Since January, a retired couple from Utah, Mark and Lynn Hamp, have been in Albany scanning books from the state library's collection as FamilySearch volunteers. They're working their way through family histories with local histories and genealogy society journals coming up next.
But what a lovely way to spend your retirement, especially if you're a genealogist. Now, the fact that Mark and Lynn are from Utah and that they're volunteers for FamilySearch suggests to me that they might be an LDS Mormon couple and on a service mission, which I don't know if you know this. Very often, older couples, after they've retired, they look forward to being able to go out on a service mission and spend 1 to 2 years in a community usually far from their normal home, just performing service in some area that needs their presence. It's really pretty cool.
I did not know that. That sounds like a lovely way to spend your retirement. Well, Lynn said in the press release that she has developed an appreciation for, quote, strangers who recorded their family histories because they understood the importance of preserving this information for future generations, which honestly is a pretty beautiful way of thinking about what we all do.
Yeah, and we don't often really think about that. We're affected by random people that have recorded their information. It doesn't even have to be our family's history because often we don't have a recorder. We don't have documents of our specific ancestors, but maybe neighbors or someone in the area. And those affect us because our folks were living there at that same time too. It's really lovely.
And separately, though a different project, almost 250,000 pages of previously microfilmed records from the state archives in New York are now online for the first time. So we're talking colonial deeds and wills, land grants to Revolutionary War veterans, and you guys, convictions of British loyalists.
What? Convictions of British loyalists? I haven't seen anything like that before.
Yep, convictions of British loyalists. And listen, the timing on this could not be better because this is the year of America 250. We are right in the middle of the semi-quincentennial, the 250, I had to practice that, the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. So if you've ever wondered whether your colonial New York ancestor was a patriot, a loyalist, or just trying to keep their heads down and farm, this is your moment.
That's awesome. But some of us are about to find out our family tree has a few more red coats possibly than we ever imagined.
Yeah, that's true. History is complicated. Not every ancestor was at Valley Forge. Some of them were getting their property confiscated for backing the wrong king. And now you can read about it online for free.
Oh, this is a whole way too much fun to be having with a single press release.
So basically, the headline here is New York is still going to take its sweet time getting you a death certificate, but the state library and state archives are quietly making a lot of other genealogy gold available for free right now on FamilySearch. And in a year when the whole country is looking back at 1776, that's some pretty great sweet tea. So we're going to link the announcement and the FamilySearch page in the show notes so you can go and play now with the New York records. You're welcome.
I'm going to go play because I have lots of New York ancestors with a lot of military connections and a lot of brick walls up there. So that sounds like a good thing. Well, that's our show for today. Many thanks to Kate Guanci of Archoral for being with us, for sharing her upside-down approach to research, and for reminding us that people who shape us aren't always the ones on the pedigree chart. I signed up for the free trial myself, and I am absolutely loving the program. Kate and Laverne and Dan at Archoral provided us with a discount code to give out to our listeners, and we will have that in our show notes for you to go ahead and give it a try yourself.
And thank you to all of you for listening. We'd love to hear from you, especially if you've discovered any unexpected redcoats in your family tree this week. Share your stories with us in the comments on social media or send us a message at hello@branchingout.show.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications so you don't miss our upcoming episodes. We have a few already planned and ready to be working on. And if you're enjoying the show on your favorite podcast platform, leaving a quick review is one of the best ways to help other people find us.
Until next time, happy researching, and maybe sit in a more comfortable chair while you do it.
I knew you were going to throw something in there. Definitely.
All right, see you next time.